What's going on, everybody? Good morning, happy Monday, or good afternoon, happy Monday. I have got a Freightliner Cascadia with the DD15. Now the customer came in because we have a fault code for the engine, crankcase, filter, speed, whatever they want to call it. I'll show you the actual code in a second. But on the on the passenger side, here's your turbo. Just below the turbo, we have a crankcase or oil separator filter, crankcase filter, whatever you want to call it. There's a speed sensor, okay? So the speed sensor actually measures inside the rotations, and if the rotations are not fast enough or they're slowing down, too slow, whatever, it'll trigger a code. So the customer said, let's replace the sensor, which we did a while back, a few months ago. We replaced the crankcase filter a few months ago, and code came back. So customer said, hey, let's just look at the harness, let's replace the little pigtail. Not a bad idea, easy way to go, right? This way you're not going too crazy in there. However, right now, what we have is unfortunately some bad news. We've got a few things going on. I want to show you what we found, and I'm going to show you how we're going to test to kind of confirm this issue, which I think it's just going to be, unfortunately, some bad news. So, first thing first, fault code SPN 5444FMI1. Engine, crankcase, breather, oil separator, speed too low. Okay, so what you can do is you can go to your instrumentation. Here's your speed. You can monitor that right there. Okay, let me just take a quick look. I'm gonna go ahead and fire it up. Give me 1 second. Let me make sure nobody's there. All right, make sure nobody's there when you start it. You can hear that the cranking's a little slow, number one. That kind of throws me off. It should register some speed. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna increase the RPM just to kind of use the computer. We're gonna go here, engine speed, up to about 1,000 RPMs, and we should have a lot more than 94 or 100 RPMs when it comes to your sensor, okay? So something's going on there. I don't like the way it sounds. That could be that we have another issue. Let me reset this really quick. Turn that shit off. Hold on, guys. If you can hear the engine, just listen to it. Sign. But if you hear that sound, that puff, 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 that sound typically means the valves are having some issues. So if we're having some issues there with the valves, number one, you're out of adjustment. Now the other thing is these valves were adjusted. I don't remember how long ago we did it. I know it was a few months ago, maybe a year. I don't know, to be honest with you. I'll have to double check the records. But one thing I don't like is that sound. So last time we replaced the crankcase filter, there was a lot of oil in it. That means that filter is probably getting full, which means we may have some engine issues. Right now, what I'm going to do really quick, just to kind of confirm. So the crankcase filter is working. It's just measuring a low speed. Okay, it's less than what is desired. So a little scary, but let's go to the next thing. I'm going to do a relative compression test. Okay, same thing. Just like I've done it before in my previous videos. Click on yes. We're gonna crank it, and then you're gonna just let it do its own thing. So crank, 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 don't let go until the engine stops cranking on its own. Okay, here goes. Listen to that struggle. All right, guys, so in real time, you're gonna see what the compression is. Take a look at that. That's terrible. Cylinder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we definitely have cylinders 4 and 6 completely zero compression, 0%. So we can try adjusting the valves. I don't know if it'll increase the number. I think 85% or 86% is considered passing. I did the printout. I'll show you that right now in a second. But again, issue here and definite issues here. That could definitely be contributing to what's going on the crankcase. Okay, so if the crankcase is full, getting full of oil, then yeah, something's going on with this engine. And unfortunately, with just under 800,000 miles, this engine may need to get overhauled. Unfortunately, I know it's not the news anybody wants to hear. Trust me, I've got this truck right over here that we're gonna have to go into it and start rebuilding that engine. So again, not the news that anybody wants. Trust me. But there you go. So again, if you're ever getting that code, SPN 5444FMI1, One, check a few things out. Go to your instrumentation. Okay, you're going to go to monitor, and then you're going to select what you're going to want to look at. These RPMs should be a lot higher than 100. Even at, let's say, 1500 RPMs while you're doing a road test, these RPMs, I think it says 3000 RPM speed. If it's not, I mean, this is barely at 100 and it's only at 1000 RPM. So we definitely have an issue there. I'm gonna recommend a few things to the customer. Number one, crankcase filter has to get replaced. It could be defective. Hell, I mean, that's always a possibility. Number two, I'm gonna recommend a valve adjustment test again to make sure that, hey, the valves are good. If we still have low compression, then guess what? That's gonna recommend that cylinder head get rebuilt, or maybe the engine get rebuilt. But again, we'll worry about that shit when we get there. So if you're getting that code, a couple things to look for. Again, it kind of sucks. If you're getting some voltage issues, then you can check that out. There's some troubleshooting steps online that you can look up. So it's 3 little pins on the plug. 1 and 3 are voltage, so you got to have about 4.5 to 5.5 volts. 2 and 3, if I'm not mistaken, are your ohms, so you have to check out the resistance there. And 1 in ground. So there's a couple things you can do there, again, if you're getting some potential issues with that fault code. But as of now, this is the route I got to take just based on what I see. So if you guys like the video, fantastic. If it helps you guys out, hopefully you don't have a problem like this. But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go this route and show this customer what we found and see what he decides to do from there. I'm gonna clear the code, but it's gonna come back anyway. It's gonna clear here. It'll trigger it to go away, and then depending on road conditions, it may come back later. So again, unfortunately, this is what we're finding, and hopefully this will help some of you guys out and give you guys an idea of what on earth is going on. So there we go, guys. Alrighty, guys, we are back. So we did the adjustments to the valves on this DD15. Remember, if you remember correctly, we had number 4 and number 6 at 0 compression. Number 1 was low, and number 4, like, it was all over the place. So unfortunately, it was not looking very good. So we went ahead and did the valve adjustments. I'm going to show you exactly what the results are right now. We did replace the crankcase filter, although that was replaced about, I'd like to say 5 months ago or so. And it could be defective, or it could be a sign of another issue to come. So what I'm going to do right now is open the key. We're going to do a quick compression test, and let's see what the results are of our valve adjustment. Again, guys, if we're adjusting the valves that often, unfortunately, that's a sign that something else is going on. So just keep that in mind, guys. Please don't think that, hey, valve adjustments are going to save everything. They help. They're part of your maintenance. Keep that in mind. You know, it's just unfortunately the way things are now. You know, these machines are going to require a lot more maintenance than the old stuff. So anyway, take that, you know, do with that what you will, that information. You know, I wish it were better news, but anyway, let's go ahead and take a look. As of now, I don't have any codes because I did clear them yesterday. We may have some stuff that's just here in the memory, but nothing active. I've got nothing on the dash. Let's go to our actions tab. We're going to go to relative compression test. I'm going to leave that to run test. The computer is now ready for it. Click on OK. Let me just make sure that nobody's touching anything on the motor while I crank it. ¿Te voy a dar? Okay. No está chavo ahí? All right, guys. Always look around. Make sure nobody's got their grubby hands in there. Last thing you want to do is crank this shit when somebody's there, and then you're gonna have an accident. So, okay, ready? All right, guys. So we're gonna do a compression test. I've already showed you guys how this is done before. So again, you're gonna click on the clicked on OK once, and now all you're gonna do is crank up here and let go when it's done on its own. Ready? All right, guys, so it did it on its own. Let's click on OK. Let's see what the results are. Okay, not bad. Number 6 improved to 95%. Number 4 improved to 97%. Number 1 didn't improve very much, so unfortunately that's definitely something we're gonna have to look out for and possibly get that cylinder head rebuilt or replaced or whatever it's going to take. Truck has almost 800,000 miles on it, so yeah, unfortunately not the best news, but hey, at least for now we can still keep this truck working. I'm going to start it up just to see, just to kind of see the numbers really quick and go from there. Lo voy a echar a andar. All right, guys, give me a sec. I'm going to go ahead and crank this thing up right now, and I just kind of want to go see what the crankcase is looking like, just for shits and giggles here. want pressure. I want, what the fuck? There we go. All right, here goes. Look at that, right away. So yesterday at 1,000 RPMs, this thing was barely at 100. So right now we're already at 2,000, 2,400, 25. Big difference. So we did have an issue with that crankcase. Now either the issue was because of the engine itself or because it was defective. Time will tell. You know, defective things happen. So these are the RPMs right now on the engine. Let's see if I can give it a little something. All right, look at that. Beautiful. I'm gonna shut that down right now. So we have speed on our crankcase. That means we did not have a bad sensor and we did not have any potential wiring issues. So as you can see, look at that. It's still spinning. So anyway, let's go back, do a compression test. We're gonna go to actions, relative compression test. Click on run. I'm gonna do another test just in case. Let's see if it makes a difference. Ready? 3, 2. All right, guys, click on OK. Let's see what the numbers are now. 68 actually went down. So definitely something to be concerned about on the number 1. Unfortunately, I can't do anything there without actually taking the cylinder head off, sending that to get checked. It is what it is. So it sucks, trust me, I know. But anyway, let's go ahead and print that up for the customer. So we have his records, our records. Click on print. Click on close. And one thing I like to do, again, always just as a safety precaution, when you are running an engine, look at the oil pressure. To me, that's the Achilles heel of this truck, this engine. I don't know why. I'm just, you know, we're gonna make sure that this oil pressure is good. Here goes. There you go. 65 PSI, pretty good. I've seen sometimes they come in a little bit lower and a little bit higher. So for now, that's good. I'm not gonna sweat it. This truck's ready to go. I got to put the CPC back, put that away. Let's see what the speed is. Look at that. There you go. There's the RPM speed of the crankcase or the oil separator. So there was definitely something going on there. Other than that, guys, we are all done. I mean, this is a pretty good, you know, pretty good little learning lesson for some of us. Again, it doesn't change the fact that, hey, guess what? We're going to still have to do the cylinder head and get that shit taken care of. Guys, if you like this video, all I ask is a few things. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends. If you guys have any questions, as always, hit me up. I don't mind getting back to them as soon as I can. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.